I am finally free. And that's not what I originally planned to do, but I'm free from it anyway. And before I talk about what that is, I'm just gonna commit to all the farming I did, which I got about 5,000 gold, to buy these. Another Estus flask. And 1 coin, which again seems very expensive for how many I have of these. And I was gonna buy more bombs, but I kind of want to use up these upgrade materials first and then come back and spend everything else on the bombs. So let's get 4 of this. I was kind of tempted to do this one during my farm just so I can farm a little bit more efficiently, but I decided to, like, no, something could happen, might as well try and do this all on recording. And okay, I'm doing good on money. Hopefully I still have enough to buy a bunch of bombs. And I wanted to commit to spending all my money first and doing all these upgrades so I don't talk myself out of what I'm going to talk about next. Yep. And 2 more. Okay, yeah, we have plenty of money left. Oops, wrong button. Okay, and should have a good enough amount of money for bombs. How many fire bombs do I have? 7. But I'll just stick to these because they're cheaper and I'm familiar with how they function. I'm thinking about 30s would be a good number. Okay, how much money do I have? How much is this? 90? Could buy 1. And berries. Could buy 1 too. Might as well buy 1 of these too. We'll just buy everything. Okay. That should be good. Okay, so when I stopped recording, I went on a big farming spree for all this money, and I did that in the sort of like old house area by the windmill, and I just kept doing that big loop of enemies down to the beach, and then back in those that village sort of square. And while walking by, there's a well in there. I'm like, you know what? Maybe the coins are for the well, and then I'm like, oh, I kind of want to test it out, but again, I should probably save that for on screen. And then later, while editing, I think it was, I was looking through the book on this screen, and under gold coins, I saw the word well. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the coins are for the well then. So I'm going to try and test it out right now before I go into the big tirade. Just a well. Can I do that? Oh. Did I get a card? No. Do I keep putting more in? Hello. 2. Okay, what does that say? Oh, I don't have my alphabet up. Okay, so it says wishes made 2, which I put 2 coins in. So I guess I'll throw the rest in? Oh. So this is how you upgrade the card slots. For 3 coins? Okay. I hope all these wells are connected, because I thought you have all these different wells and you put 1 coin in, you get 1 card out, and that uses up the well. So I guess whenever we get a coin, we'll just throw in the closest well. And what I did was I took the time and I went through this entire booklet of what I have, and I translated every single word. This took me like all week to do, so I don't have any drawing updates for this week, but I have this entire booklet of what I have decoded, and I'll just go through page by page and talk about it and read it out. So, page 10, beginning your adventure. A secret legend says that great treasure lies in this faraway land. Maybe it is the power to defy death. Why do you seek this power? Time to begin your adventure. Here is what you will do. Ringing the East Bell. East Forest. Enter the woods. Hero's grave. A sword lies at the grave. Guard captain. Powerful foe. Be careful. Ringing the West Bell. Old house. You will need a key. Flooded well. Page 29. Dark tomb. Dark. Need a light. West garden. Page 27. Question marks. Then blank. I assume that's Garden Knight, and then that's the area boss. In a far-off land, a great treasure was sealed away forever. Some say it is the power to defy death. The power to defy death. And then very faintly along the edges, it just says secret legend, secret legend, secret legend over and over again. And then my character's saying, lost? See page 28. So, nothing too great from this page, but along the edge, it's saying secret legend over and over again. When I first tested out this game, it was in a smaller window, and the application name for the game, as you can see here, is Secret Legend. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's what the title says. And it is what the title says, but I forgot that part. I just remembered there was something in like the menu settings that I couldn't find again. And so when decoding the language, Secret Legend could have been a big help. But by the time I did this, I think I only got 1 character. I think it was the L. No, not the L. It was one of the characters, but I had all the others from all the other items. Then we have page 11, the game screen. Ruin Seeker, you. Strange gate to the far shore. Prize/treasure with these strange dots again. Health points, stamina points, magic points. Readied equipment, magic potions, focus preview. Everything hurts way more when you're tired. Important. Keep your eye on your stamina points. When you have 0 stamina points, you're in danger. And that red text is danger. Originally I thought it was damage, so I translated it slightly wrong. But I just never realized how close damage and danger are, like, phonetically. And when I was done translating everything, I sort of flipped through this book like back and forth for like 30 minutes to an hour. And on this page, I noticed when it's pointing to your character, that line is yellow and all the others are blue. And when I first saw this, I'm like, well, all the lines are different. Like you got a yellow one, you got a blue 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 one. But in my head, I'm just like, all these lines are different. So I never took note of that. But on my important pictures Photoshop document, I have a screenshot of that yellow line pointing to your character because that stands out. And then your character is called the Ruin Seeker. And it kind of makes me think that you are not the hero. And you being the Ruin Seeker could either mean that you're seeking old buildings or that you're seeking the destruction of something. And I kind of lean more towards that second one based on other things of how this booklet is phrased. And we'll get into more detail about that in a little bit. And the Strange Gate we'll get into more detail. These dots, I think, tell you where hidden treasure chests are because this screen is the very beginning and there's no chest there and there's also no enemy there. But I think if you use a certain type of bomb where that big dot is indicated, then you'll get the treasure chest. And maybe in the world you have to look out for these patterns of dots. But I'm not too sure on that. I think that's it for this page. Not too exciting in the very beginning, but does get interesting later on. Page 12, Controls. Focus. Focus is crucial. Inventory/gear. Move. Shield. Potions. Use item. Roll, run, talk. Again, nothing too crazy, but when looking at this screen, when I was zooming in on the right half, I noticed this little square here. So I also got a picture of that. I don't know what it could be, but there are a lot of weird lines and squares hidden out the booklet. So when I was all done, I kept flipping back and forth, everything looking for like any sign of something odd. And I got what is it, 7 pictures or 7 screenshots. So I'll show those at the very end. Don't think there was anything else for this screen. Page 13, A button. This button has many uses. One is a secret, but if you read this book, you will learn it. Talk. Talk to signs, doors, and more. Pray. Forbidden technique. Offer reverence to the tomb of those who came before. Roll. Press to roll. Very, very important for surviving. Press A. You cannot be hit during the start of the roll. Run. Press and hold the button to run. It is faster than rolling over and over. Press A and hold. Unfortunately, when I wrote all this down, I didn't give any details as to where all these words are coming from, so hopefully I remember where to put all the on-screen stuff. But in this page, there's a new function called praying, and it doesn't tell me how to pray, but based on the layout of the screen, you have the talk and interact with stuff, which is weird that it's talk and not just look at, is standing and pressing A, and then you have roll, which is moving and pressing A, and then you have pray, which we don't know yet, and then there's rolling, which is moving and hold, or running, and which is holding and pressing A. Well, running, which is holding A while moving. So I think to pray, I need to hold A while standing still, and maybe it could be rapidly tapping, but that seems odd. And then it does fit the layout for holding it. It could also be some other sort of button combination, but this page is strictly for the A button. Okay, yeah, that's it for this page. Oh yeah, but between these two pages, I didn't notice any extra hidden things, which kind of makes me suspicious of when they're not there. Now we have page 14. Left trigger button. This button has one main use, but is a very powerful one. Use it all the time, Ruin Seeker. Lock. Target lock. Face your adversaries. Hold this button to focus on a nearby foe. Then I believe it's LT plus A for focus and evade, to roll and dodge while still staying ready to strike. Then left trigger plus right trigger to raise your shield and face your foe. Someone in the comments pointed out that I could actually parry, and before I started this recording I tested that out, and it's pretty awkward because you have to rapidly tap your block button like 3 times to then parry. Pretty weird function. I thought it was just like, I don't know, like maybe quickly tap it while you're locking on, but you just have to rapidly tap it in general. And then I couldn't get, oh wait, was it, there's something about like attacking fast while running, and I couldn't get that to work. I forget where that is in the book. If I just read it, I'm sorry. Probably should have taken better notes, or like organized my notes better. Page 15. Understanding stamina points. Stamina points represent your poise and strength to perform certain actions. When you evade or perform other moves, your stamina points go down. When at 0 SP, you can still do many actions, but at great disadvantage. You can always attack even without stamina. Move to safety. At the start of evasion, you have invulnerability briefly, so evade at just the right moment. Then it shows at the beginning, invulnerability, look out for the dust clouds. Stability. Take enough hits and you will flinch. If a hit is really big, you can even be knocked over. The hidden stability gauge is 25% of your total HP. I just kind of assumed this because like in Dark Souls you have the hidden poise stat, and if you take a big enough hit you'll get like thrown back. But when I was fighting some of those moblin enemies, I kept getting greedy because they would either flinch or eventually be knocked back because I would attack them so rapidly. So I think enemies also have the stability meter. And then between these two pages is that background line connecting them. I do have a screenshot of that on my important images. Page 16. With vigor. Use vigor to roll. You are safe for a tiny moment. Found a shield? Block. Vigor fills more slowly. Hits will use up vigor. No vigor. Oh no, you ran out of vigor. You can only hop and are highly vulnerable. Watch out. No safety, low stability, hurt more. Then at the bottom it shows vigor with full vigor, no vigor. Then evades more safely, 100% damage taken, you can block, stability is normal, and then you can use a special tech, which I'm not too sure what that is. And then no vigor is you're vulnerable, you take 50% more damage. You can't block because your block, there's like a meter when you block. That's actually your stability meter or stamina meter. I thought it was like shield health for a while, but no, it's just stamina. And then it shows low stability, which then you can be knocked over and then you can't use your special tech. And then we have this fun page, which was just a wall of text. Treasures and tools. Sword. Is it the hero's blade or forgery? Stick. Just a stick. Shield. Left by a rudling. Used to deflect blows. Snow bomb. Unstable powder made from the fairy of the West Garden. Explosion bomb. Made from slurm, the pudding that goes boom. Fire bomb. Fire. Fire everywhere. And ow, 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 ow. Keys. You need a key to open one of the rare old doors. the key disappears. Fruits. Eat fruits to restore HP or MP. They are gone forever, so snack sparingly. Hot pepper and ivy. One is spicy, one is minty. Gives boost to attack or SP. Effigy. Betray for coins. Each betrayal is sweeter than the last. Lure. Doll of the beloved hero. Foes will be tricked. Golden coin. A special treasure that allows a wish. Use at a well to give to the wish eater. Cards are ways to be inspired to unusual greatness. Magic items. Some items use the power of your soul. MP refills when you rest, but there is a finite number of souls in the world. Shows uses on left. Even a drop of MP is enough. Note, Holy Cross is more than a mere item. Magic potion. Lifeblood of the hero. Quaff to restore your will to go on. Mysteriously refills whenever touch a checkpoint. Find and you will get a free flask. Offer up ash to make your magic potions more potent. It is said the ash of heroes fortifies the blood. They say that if you throw enough bombs, you will get a prize, so don't be afraid to use them. Alright, so that was a lot to go through. And again, I think those dot patterns by the bombs are saying if you see a grid of dots and then a big dot, use this type of bomb and then you'll get a treasure chest. And there was that one small island with the purple flower and then a bunch of white ones. I think that's to use a firebomb because the purple flower is at the bottom of the island. But none of the patterns match these patterns of dots, either on that island or on the previous page with the treasure in those like pin drawn dots. And then the effigies, I think this handwritten note is saying that you get more, the money you get doubles each time. And sometimes I have my like asset window open in my file manager, and I don't know what the achievements are, but I have them all there to use when I need them. And they're all named properly. And there's one that says too cute to destroy and has a picture of the effigies. So I think I need to save them for an achievement. So I'll hold off on using them. And the lure says, what was the exact words? A doll of the beloved hero, which looks like me, which then sort of contradicts my theory that you're not the hero, so you're like some other guy. And for the coins, you're giving them to the wish eater, which sounds dubious in an odd way of putting it. But I spent all my coins on the well and I got something good out of it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it anyway. But the biggest red flag of this page is the magic items. How when your magic bar goes down, and I think when you go back to a bonfire or one of the shrines to get all your stats back, you can only do that so many times and just run out of magic. And when farming, I use the magic dagger a lot, so I'm kind of worried that I'm running low on like my magic reserves. And I'm also kind of thinking that maybe each shrine has a limited number of magic that it can give you, and then the shrine's just dead, like that one in the mines we saw. And I hope that's not the case, because I was kind of thinking like, oh, well, now I don't need to use the frost bombs because I have the magic dagger, which is like unlimited magic or unlimited ice. But that may not be the case. And with magic items, it's also kind of worded that it uses your soul, and then you get that back at the shrine. But maybe it's that limited mana bar is the finite number. But also you can get those little blue droplets from enemies that then refill your magic meter. So I'm not too sure on that limited number, but it does worry me. And then that sort of pink powder in the paper is called ash, and it's the same color that's those like energy bars that sort of connect the golden squares and the shrines and that sort of act like bridges all over the map. So maybe that's full of ash, which seems kind of liquidy for being called ash. Okay, I think that's it for this page. Page 28. If you seek to increase your power, risk an offering to the air. The price goes up each time, and it shows the grid of all the different stats and how much they would cost for each level. And as we do know, it does go past 3 because I have attack 4. As the shore bleeds one of falsehoods and memories, the air hungers for remedies of the corporeal world. Offer these mementos and share a delusion of power. Warning: pilgrims to the shore are stripped of this false power. So this was also pretty concerning because, I spent all this time getting money to then use these level up items to get stronger, and it's saying maybe you shouldn't get into this false power, and then if you go to the shore, then it's just gone. And I was kind of going back and forth on the interpretation of this, and I think I landed on the shore is a place you can go to, and you lose your level ups while there, but then you come back to the overworld, you get them back, hopefully, because that would really suck if you spend all this time getting stronger and then it's just gone forever. And also it kind of makes it seem like this air entity is bad, and I shouldn't be leveling up like this. And I think the last thing on this page that I did notice, there's a very faint yellow line in that dotted grid that's yellow, so I took a screenshot of that. Page 19. Oh no, bad news. The Rune Seeker has run out of HP. But wait, a strange being has given us another chance. Such a debt is a dangerous thing to have. What was, but is now not. The ghastly form is Echo of Self. Touch it to break its connection to this cycle and let it drift back into the shore. Be kind, as this is your fate as well. Cards can change its nature. You can do it. Future cycles look back with faith, knowing the cores. Persevere and be sure to boost your power despite the cost. So I'm assuming the air is this strange being, the sort of tall fox person, who I think I'm trying to rescue from that hexagon prison in that sort of blue whirly ghosts plane I was in at the beginning. And I think that's the shore, which then makes me think that when I do go there, well, hold on, I'll hold off on that thought. But also with this, it makes it seem like the more I die, the worse this sort of debt is to have. And that this Echo of Self is me, and I could be mean to it somehow. Whether if I leave it behind too many times in a row, or if I die too many times, or I do something else that's sort of wrong, then I just lose the ability to get my 20 gold back when I die, and that extra sort of damage. And then at the bottom it's telling me to be this strong to fight the boss, despite the cost, which makes it seem like it could either be the money needed to be put in to get this strong, or there's some sort of greater curse that I need to look out for, that I'm sort of going head first into because it gets me stronger. Page 26. Survival tips. Keep an eye on your bars. HP. Your will to go on. Improve potions with ash to gain more HP per sip. Stamina bar. If it's flashing, you're out of breath. Remember you take extra damage. Magic bar. The power of your soul. Using magic item consumes it. Some foes leave their souls, which are those little blue sparkles. Tired all the time? You can run. Your SP refills, even when running, so you can enter fights strongly. Rolling everywhere will exhaust you. Try new cards. Have you discovered how to use cards? Be sure to make wishes if you have the coins. Use your items. Today is the rainy day, so don't hoard valuable tools. Rewards await those who use liberally. Extra bombs for some reason. You must like using them. Use a special technique. Roll and sword at the same time to perform a fast stab. Note, it uses stamina points. Check the map. Someone has made maps for you. There are secrets hidden on them, so look carefully. You are here. Then it shows the little shopkeeper. So it's saying whenever I have coins, I should be using them right away, which makes it seem like this Wish Eater entity is a good guy, so I should befriend him. And then this is where the special technique was to roll and use the sword at the same time for like a fast attack. But I couldn't get that to work, so I might be doing that wrong. And also in this booklet, it seems like, I don't know, like the perspective of who's talking, because it's saying that someone has made maps for you. And then at one point it says, us, like who is us? Because I, the player, am the Ruin Seeker, because this is like, oh, well, this is you on the map. And then it's also like, don't trust the air, because it's like a false power. And then there's like the narrator who's just saying like, hey, here's how to use this, here's what this is. So I don't quite know all these different like entities, but I'm just gonna do whatever that gets me more power. Page 27, the West Garden. Fairies. Curious pieces of the wall. They seem intent on stopping you. Choppignom. Always hungry. It runs fast, but can't turn very quickly. Dangerous as a family. Rudling. Ghost of a soldier who has forgotten why they fight. Follows orders, but has no soul. Boss. Garden Knight. Blocks the way to the bell tower. Will kill you. To the west of the Great Palace are the gardens. Many paths are broken, but there is a way. Magic Dagger. A magic item made from a fairy. Uses to freeze foes with ice. And I guess I'll talk about this now because it makes more sense to look at this map. So when it's saying that the path to the palace is broken, it sort of makes me... it originally made me think that like, oh, well, there's one path that's not broken to get there and you have to sort of walk around aimlessly to find it. But when reading like a little sentence later on, this question mark here is one of those golden squares that takes me to the far shore. And my original thought was that they're used as like fast travel points, and that your price for using them is that you're stripped down to like level 1 and you can sort of fast travel without walking from one side of the map to the other, because then you sort of have to remember how did you get here from here. And that could just be sort of like a punishment system. But I'm starting to think that it's like the past, or like a memory of the past, where all these ruins are sort of more complete. Because when we were in sort of that sort of ghost area in the beginning, that staircase matched the staircase we just walked up. So I'm thinking when you go to the far shore, you can then cross these sort of broken paths to then get to new areas and get other items. Because there were a couple of chests that are seemingly ungettable unless you have like a jump ability, or maybe use some sort of other item to get there. And then it's saying that the Rudlings, those are the Moblin guys, I think. And when I do kill them, they don't drop those blue sparkles, but like the slimes did, the exploding slimes did. I don't think the smaller ones did. But if there is a finite number of souls in the world to refill my magic, it seems like I could just farm the slimes to get magic, unless at one point they stopped dropping those little blue sparkles. And then I was kind of going back and forth on whether to add this sort of little golden path to my important images tab. And I eventually did, because I looked back at the footage and this sort of golden platform is just normal ruins in the actual game. But on the map, for some reason, it's gold. So I took note of that. I think that's it for this map, or for this page. Page 30. And beneath the earth. Beneath the earth are many scary places. Be sure to take a lantern. Below the fortress is a cave. And then there's nothing too special about this map. Besides a little hint saying there's a secret cave beneath the fortress, which is another page we have. Yeah, that's it for this page. Page 31. Fortress of the Eastern Vault. One key to the Shadow Obelisk is guarded by the last great machine of war. When the siege was done, the beast was coaxed into this lonely purpose. So I'm assuming this is the war machine, and this is the boss of this area. And then of course I took a screenshot of this little square. Although all the other odd squares and lines are perfectly straight, but this one's crooked. So I don't know how important this one is. And then of course there's all the other yellow lines on the boss that I didn't take note of because I think it's just part of his design. Page 32. The Last Machine of War. Siege Engine. To the Dark Cave. Page 31. Custodian. Caretakers of the vault who have learned some magic. Candles can be put out. Spyrite and Saphirak. Don't be fooled. The mark on their backs is a trick. Those who live in the fortress do not know the secrets of prayer. Use your knowledge wisely, and who knows what you will find. Prayer on page 27. To the far shore. To the hero's grave. So this is telling me what to pray at. And the golden squares take me to the far shore. And again, I thought those were sort of teleportation pads because there's so many of them. And then there's 2 hero graves shrines that we found. And I thought when translating the text of the one in the gardens where we're at, will just teleport me to where the sword is. And sort of there's like this always like teleportation back to where the sword is. But I'm thinking it's some sort of teleportation to where the actual hero's grave is, and where the sword is like one of those teleports to the actual grave. And that little hidden cave of on the maps on one of those previous pages is right here. So I guess if I just would have explored enough in this area, I would have found it. And I did notice there's a little hard to see arrow right there, so I have to keep that in mind. And we're not there yet, but I'll talk about it now. So I assume these purple lines are the sort of ash pipeline, because it is a purplish pink color. But then on the ruined toll map, those ones that are out are gray, and the ones that are on, if I remember correctly, are yellow, which stood out to me. So I took a screenshot of the yellow path, because that could be part of the yellow lines I have to keep looking out for in the map. And in the West Garden, that sort of power line is not even on the map. So I'm not too sure what that all means, what all these lines mean. But yeah, since there's so many of these golden squares, I do think it teleports you to some sort of different area where it's supposed to be more challenging because you don't have your power-ups in sort of that ghost memory world, but you can then access new areas, and then when you're out of there, you get all your levels back. I hope. Because I was kind of going back and forth, like, maybe I shouldn't just never go to the far shore if I'm going to lose all my stats. Or I should go there as soon as possible, just to, like, test it out. And if I lose my stats, I lose my stats, but I still have some materials left. But at the beginning of this video, I wanted to commit to using them, so I don't, like, talk myself out of not using them right away in fear of, like, losing them later. And I think that's it for this page. Page 33, The Ruined Atoll. Under the library is the skeleton of a great abbey that served as its annex. Once, some others made this their home and built on the ruins. Only flora and fauna live here now, but the frogs may be on patrol. Summoning the library path means venerating to the four corners, so take a knee. So I think with these obelisks, you have to pray to them and that activates them. But when we first read about praying, it says a forbidden technique. And you could pray to go to the far shore, which seems kind of bad. And you can pray to go to the hero's grave, which seems good. And you can pray to these obelisks, which seems mandatory. So I don't really know how forbidden praying is. And we were at the Ruined Atoll because it's this map. And so I think this is the annex, and then that castle in the sky is the library. And once we activate all the monolith obelisks here, then we get a path to go up to this castle. And then this is the first sort of odd yellow line thing detail that I noticed, and I didn't maybe keep track of all the other things. Just to keep an eye out for. Okay, I think that's it for that page. Almost done. Page 34. Husher, a friendly bird that lives in each storm. Crabbo/Crabbit. Crabbo has a hard shell, but Crabbit has pals. Envoy, more questions than answers. Then it shows a compass showing north, east, south, and west. And I don't know what the music notes are or this little bird. And I kind of just concluded on just ignoring it, because in the map it shows by the obelisk, shows 1 northwest, 2 northeast, 3 southwest, and 4 southeast, which I assume is the activation order you have to pray at to then get the library path. One thing in particular about this map is the trees kind of stand out to me, which also reminds me of the grid of dots by the bombs. So I was kind of thinking maybe those dots could overlay with the maps of the tree positions, but then there's no sort of bigger dot, and then there's sort of no place to bomb. Maybe I sort of have to overlay the trees, and then where the big dot is, I use a certain bomb, then I get a certain hidden path. But I'm not too sure on that idea. And then again, I made a screenshot of that golden line because that one stands out to me, but I'm not too sure how important that one is. And the final page, page 35. And these frogmen have no names because I think they're all just frogmen. Still in training, they take turns attacking. Grown-ups have hooks on their tongues. Well-equipped, always tries to attack 3 times. Baby Slorm, who can't spin yet, but is still useful. Magic Orb, Odd Door, rotate it around the forbidden access, and partially summon a discrete being. I don't know how to interpret that, because I kind of thought the Magic Orb was something we'll pick up and add to our inventory and maybe use the key for something else. So I don't know about rotating, but I think it summons like a ghost helper, it sounds like. And then obviously on this map, I explored everything on my own, but I missed this little doorway here to then get to where the magic orb is. And I did notice in this room there's a little hook that's sort of hidden behind the camera. And I think when we get the grappling hook, I'd have to remember that for later to get access to another area. And oh yeah, when I got here to the vault, the green hexagon thing was already gone. And I assume this is sort of like the Triforce of this game, where I need to collect it for some sort of great power. And it said it's already stolen, which is an odd way of putting it, because if I'm the hero, I would need it and I would take it because I need it and not steal it. But if it says it's already stolen, that implies that I would also steal it, which makes me think that I shouldn't be going on this adventure and I'm sort of like doing more harm than good. And I don't think I talked about it, but on the very first page, again, it says that this secret legend is for a power to defy death, and my character has this ability to come back from death using the Echo of Self, and I can go to this ghost plane far shore area, and that sort of seems sort of like defying death. And the name of the game is, I think in full, Secret Legend TUNIC, and I have a tunic, and so I think the tunic is the secret power to defy death. And because I have it, maybe in the past I stole this and it's sort of led to the downfall of this sort of civilization. I'm speculating pretty much, or a lot, but I don't know how true that is, but it could hold some water. Oh, there was one more thing I was going to talk about. These characters that have circles around them, I don't think mean anything, but they do sort of hold like a higher purpose. Sort of like how God would always be capitalized. So maybe all of these sort of divine entities, places have that circle around them so that they're more important. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I know it's been a lot of talking, not a lot of action, but I just wanted to get all that off my chest. But I guess I'll quickly show, where'd my mouse go? My Photoshop document of just I have it separated into like the dots. I don't know what those mean, and all these lines that will eventually mean something, probably. I don't know what, because there is there's like golden obelisk parts all over the map that do have sort of lines on them, and maybe that's sort of how to put the obelisk back together, but I don't know how to pick it up because I know it's really big. And then I have the alphabet pretty much filled out except for these two, and after all this translating, I haven't seen these at all, so I don't know if I did this all correctly, but I get the idea of what the words mean. And some of these words I've translated like unusual is just a real abomination to look at through the phonetic translation. But I think I'll actually, play the game for a little bit, because that was a lot of talking. And I wanted to test one idea out. So I did the well that actually turned out to be true. I want to test out ice over here. Because I think you can like maybe make an ice bridge to get across this. So I'll test this out. See if I can. No. Okay, let's use an ice bomb. Hopefully this doesn't, like, sink. Okay, it's sunk. Let's get back a little bit. Maybe a little further. Okay, so, yeah, you can't make, like, ice bridges. So maybe you go to the far shore and all these runes are complete, and then you can go over there to get that treasure chest. Oh yeah, I did test out some of these cards a little bit. This one turns your health potions to magic potions. Like, well, that's kind of useless because you can just go back to the bonfires and get all your magic back. But if at one point I'd run out of the ability to get my magic meter back because I used up all the souls, whatever that could mean, then I would probably have to be more sparingly using magic, and I could get my magic back up without using that finite resource by using the healing potions as magic potions. This allows enemies to drop hearts. I don't know the exact percentage, but I just tried this out for like 2 kills, so maybe 50%, probably less than that. I haven't tested out these, but I think this one, it looks like you drop less money upon death, and this one makes your ghost do more damage when you collect it. And then this looks like you do more attack, and this one does more defense, but doesn't seem like it when I tested it out. My original thought for this one, because I got this one before this one, but this one does more defense because it looks like it's more armor. But maybe it like makes you sneakier, like it's like a cloak. It also looks kind of like a life preserve and makes it look like you could swim, maybe, but that's not a thing. So I guess I'll have my second one be, yeah, the defense one, just because. Oops, I want my stick back. So I want to test out praying at this grave, if my theory of holding the button is how you actually pray. And oh yeah, I did learn how to parry, because you need to actually shield, and then you hit it like 3 times really fast, which is pretty awkward to do. I don't think I'm going to get the timing on that pretty well, but I'll try it at some points. Here lies the hero. If I remember correctly, is like pray to visit the grave. And so I was kind of thinking about like how to pray, because I think it's just hold A. Let me just hold that. Yeah. Okay. That was a bit more instant than I thought. Oh no, is this the far shore? Okay, so this is the far shore, which is not what the booklet told me. Okay. So those are all the upgrade materials. I'm on the defense one. So maybe there's like 6 of these graves, and the more I am in each stat, the closer these staircases get. Because I thought on the mushrooms I was like level 2, and then on the fangs I was level 4. But they look to be about the same distance. Okay, that's nothing apparently. Okay, please tell me I got my stats back. Oh good, okay. Yeah. Yeah, then here are those like golden chunks with this line pattern, so maybe I have to put this back together, and then all these mysterious lines in the booklet tell me how to do that. Because I did find a base for these golden pillars, but these golden pillars are like all over the map and they're not marked, and I haven't been paying attention to as to where they are, so that's going to be a problem for later. Yeah, let me just pray for nothing. Okay, so that does like a glowy. And if I pray to the shrines, I don't think anything happens. What if I pray to this? Nope, okay. Still can't open those doors. If I pray to you... Oh, I think I was a little too close. Nothing happens. And oh yeah, this the shopkeeper guy is like a big skeleton, which makes it also seem like he defied death in some manner. So I don't know if it was like, if I also have the power to defy death, or if it's just sort of like maybe many different ways to live forever. And the great treasure is like the perfect one, the perfect method. I don't think there's any of those golden squares around here, because I was just gonna kind of avoid them, but now that I know I get my stats back, I'll test it out next one we see. But enough yappering, we got something to kill. Okay, let me check out everything. So I have 4 uses of this, which I can get like a free bomb on. But I also kind of want to be more methodical with my bomb uses, because if I just spam it, then only 1 bomb registers. And I think if by blocking, I can block all of his attacks from far away. Oh look, it's me. I forgot about me over here. Okay. And oh yeah, I think whenever runic text appears on the screen, I'll just translate it for the video, and it'll be a mystery for me later. Okay. And 1 bomb. And smack, smack, and a smack, and a bomb. Smack, and a bomb. Okay, just gotta do it slow and steady. Because I think it takes about 20 total bombs, but if I mess up, then I have some extra bombs. But also if I die, then you have to buy more bombs, which isn't exactly ideal. I don't know if I can deflect those or parry those shots back, because they don't like bounce off my shield like the fairy shots do. Okay, we're doing good. Back up. And a bomb for you. And another bomb for you. And a bomb. And a bomb. And a bomb. And a bomb. And 1 bomb. Oh, that got you. Oh no, I got greedy. You're still doing okay. 2, 3. Should probably get more stamina back. Ow. Hold on, let me get stamina back. And bomb. Oh, 1 more. Oh no, I got greedy. I got greedy. Okay, we did it. Again, I assume you needed the sword to do that properly, but it was very interesting doing it without it, because you have like a finite resources of attack, and if you mess up royally, then you have to farm again. So heal a little bit. And This area does have the sort of a dispersal of flowers. So maybe if my dot theory is correct, it could be something here. But I did like bomb all over the place, so maybe not. Ooh, a chest. Can you get that? Oh yeah, I did notice, well, like the important items like the sword, the shield, the lantern, and the magic dagger were all outside of chests. They were just kind of out in the open. And they're also kind of not necessary because up to this point, you never needed the shield and you could have made it through the dark tomb without the lantern, but just by using the map very carefully. And you don't need the magic dagger because you have ice bombs. So I'm wondering if there's like an achievement for doing certain areas without each item that's like helpful for each area. But I don't know. Or also if you can just play the whole game without like any of the important items. But now we finally made it to the bell. And whoa, oh man. After translating all these letters, I kind of remember what some of them are. But not all of them. You strike a bell, you ring a bell. That's what I'm going with.